Last season, South Australia outlasted Western Australia at Football Park. But now things have changed. The Crows have taken their place in the AFL, and Subiaco Oval is today's venue. Can WA break SA's recent dominance? And welcome to Subiaco Oval and 7 Sports' big coverage of the interstate clash between Western Australia and South Australia. As we said at the outset, certainly South Australia have dominated Western Australia since the introduction of the Eagles, but so much is on the line today. This game very much about pride and public relations. With me is John Rogers. And John, the advent of the Crows, like the Eagles, changes the perception of interstate football.
Yes, it does, Dennis. The scenario certainly changes. The West Australian side from a state level suffered, as you said, because of the Eagles. Now it's interesting to see how South Australia are going to go, given the fact that the Crows have been born this year. There's something like 12 South Australians who are making their first appearance for their state, so there's a degree of inexperience there, and I think there's about 5 or 6 players who have only made 2 state appearances, so I think things will even themselves out a little here.
And a great opportunity for some of these young players.
Absolutely. Whatever happens, it's going to give more players exposure to state level football, which can do nothing but good for the game.
Let's check the lineups then, starting with the backs for Western Australia.
Willie Dick, interesting to see him playing in the back pocket. He normally plays in the forward line for his side. Gwilym and White, 2 good fullbacks, play strong football.
Peter McIntyre, of course, a Crow and a very strong mark.
Hoddle, Hines and Panizza. Hines, he probably is a little confused about who he's playing for at the moment, given the number of games that he's been playing for different sides recently, and Darryl Panizza been in scintillating form for his club at centre-half back.
Lots of varieties. Yeah. Peter Bennett, he's a very good player at centre-half forward, left footer.
Well, Malaxis in the centre for Western Australia, and their captain. He's looking to try and resurrect his AFL career and doing it well so far with his new club, East Fremantle.
Gary Smallridge, best and fairest at East Fremantle last season, now with Port.
And Carl Langdon, a late inclusion. He qualifies to play. He didn't train last night. He was training with the Eagles, but they've seen fit to put him in at centre-half forward and should do well. Kickett, a scintillating player coming back from suspension, played well for his club last week, and I think he'll do well on the half-forward line. And
that inclusion of Langdon says something. Obviously, the selectors are very keen to do well in this game.
Hutton gets a lot of possessions for Claremont, his home club. There's a little query about his accuracy when kicking for goals. He kicked something like 9-6 in a side that kicked 28 goals last week, so one would hope that his conversion rate would be a little better.
Roger Delaney, along with Fiachi, 2 Port Adelaide teammates.
Well, Craig Nelson coming back to West Perth from South Australia. All South Australians would know him, and he certainly has a couple of points to prove.
Plenty of experience on the ball for South Australia too. Redden, Williams and Nailey, a quality trio.
And 4 interchange players, which I think is an excellent idea, and I think the sooner they get more than 2 interchange players in AFL football, the better.
Just about set to go then at Subiaco Oval. They're the teams for this afternoon's big game. It promises to be a very entertaining affair. The crowd is building up. Let's go down to the boundary now and Max Stevens.
Thanks very much, Dennis. Great to be here at Subiaco. We're looking at a top temperature today of 19, currently 18 degrees, and having a look around the ground, the humidity 57%, the wind a slight north-northeasterly, however no goal advantage blowing across the ground. Ground conditions, well, it's firm, but I must add the grass here a little long, and that's going to be something the South Aussies won't be used to. The forecast, cloudy periods with a chance of rain.
And just taking a look at the record, it does favour Western Australia narrowly over South Australia. There you can see it, but not much in it, and certainly in recent times it has been the Crow Eaters who have dominated the series, 36-41 overall, and some big winning margins along the way, 116 points as recently as 1982. So that's it. We'll be back with all of the first quarter action right after this. The umpires this afternoon, David Johnson and Michael Abbott. The breeze across the ground.
And Carl Langdon named at centre-half forward, but in fact on the interchange bench, Dennis.
First bounce, won by Nelson, who goes after it again. And it's going to be a free kick immediately. This is Banfield. Alongside the centre circle, towards half forward. Smallridge in front, fisted away by Breeman. Willie Dick, an opportunity, knocks it down. Sims keeps it in front towards the boundary. It's out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. Gary Smallridge played for Western Australia against South Australia last season at Football Park. And now the boot on the other foot. Boundary throw in. It falls behind. Nelson goes after it. Desperate stuff. And a whistle. Steve Malaxis at the base of the pack, along with Banfield.
A lot at stake here, Dennis. It'll take a little time for both these sides to settle down. A little bit nervous to start with, but we'll see some good football later on.
This is Murphy across the ground. Good looking kick to McIntyre. Midway between centre half forward and left half forward. Goes for distance down towards full forward. Bennett is behind. Up early. Could have interfered. It falls behind. This is Smith. Overran the ball. Now he's in trouble. And the umpire has called it against South Australia, holding the ball.
Yes, they've been pretty dynamite on that all through the season, and I guess this state game will be no different.
Bremen in the back pocket. Plays on. Normally a long kick. This is no exception. McGovern does well, getting a fist on it. Retzlaff keeps it in front, was pushed in the back. Advantage is paid. Pasiri goes down towards left half forward. Hall is going back, coming up to medium solidly. The South Australian defender there was northeast, just missed him. And the ball goes across the boundary line down towards the left full forward pocket.
A lot of courage then by the Western Australian. He couldn't see what was coming, had eyes only for the ball, and lucky to still be with us.
Just missed him. Throw in. Redden gets it behind the pack. Williams. Tasker from half-back across the ground. Smith leads in the race. Bounces obligingly for him. Smith. Not a good kick. It was a good chase by Norris. Pushed him off the kick eventually. McIntyre hard against the boundary. Can do nothing with it.
Very impressed with Jason Norris's pace then, Dennis. He took off from the centre and was gathering his opponent at a great rate of knots and actually forced him to put the ball out of bounds.
A youngster from Claremont. A latter-day Darryl Panizza perhaps. Thrown in. Nelson gets it down. This is Sims across his body. Storming up the ground again, Bremen. Malaxos in trouble. Strong tackle by Bennett brought him down. Eventually the West Australians clear the zone. Bremen back towards the middle. Awkward bouncing ball. Fiachi took them on. Down he goes. High tackle. Fiachi's free kick. Wants to play on. In trouble. Not good play. Gives it away. Through the legs of Norris on the outer side. Backed up by Malaxis. Gets the hand pass to Pasiri. He's on right centre wing, goes down towards half forward. WA have got the numbers. Mitchell takes the mark out there. Mitchell towards the pocket. Edwards is in front. Tasker the big fist away. Northeast the kick towards midfield. Malaxis over Williams. South Australia tidy it up. This is Banfield who got it from Redden towards half forward. Smith. There's the lead. McIntyre. It's out in front of him. Bounces once. He couldn't control it. Keeps it in front. Retzlaff did well. Stood his ground. To Bremen. Forward of half-back. He's playing well in defence, John.
He is indeed, and kicks long, as you said, Dennis. That's gone from almost the wing past the 50-metre line.
And Mitchell down from half-forward. About 35 metres out. Open goal spirit bounces through.
Well, that's where he's played the vast majority of his football, but he's certainly showing what sort of a footballer he is by playing strongly off the half-back line.
Malaxos pushed in the back surely. And will get the free. Nearly going away with the ball there. Back it comes to Steve Malaxis. Virtually squares it to Nelson. The runner alongside. Retzlaff forward of centre wing. Goes for distance down towards Hutton in front. Knocked away by Delaney. Hutton recovers best. Down goes Mitchell, northeast, taken high. He'll get the free kick. Watch this kicking style,
yes,
John.
He let us down. He hand passed, Dennis. He's not got the best kicking style northeast, but South Australia able to get the ball out of defence.
Yes, the combination of Port Adelaide players. Delaney got it to Mark Williams. This is Norwich. Back towards half forward. Redden juggles it.
His 34-year-old hands.
Williams towards half forward. Smith in from the side. One attempt, shepherding off the ball. Free kick to Phil Scott. Good to see him back and playing footy again. Dogged by injury for the Eagles. Towards half forward goes his kick. Good strong mark in front taken by Rouvray.
Game of backlines at the moment, Dennis.
Yes, Rouvray, good looking player, goes in short to Bennett. Lays it off. And South Australia work it forward down towards the pocket. It bounces once and goes out of bounds. And I'm sure David Kapler wouldn't have been too happy with that kick.
Darren Smith, number 14 for South Australia, has been where the ball is for most of this first quarter. Looms as a possible danger man for South Australia.
Behind the pack by McIntyre. Bremen again to Malaxis. Passeri in the true centre-half back position. Not a good kick. It favours Fiachi out there. Norwich go, though. The two number 4s, he arrived very quickly. This is Heel. Is he pushed in the back? I thought he was, and he'll get the free kick out there.
Fiachi playing a long way down the ground. He's almost on left centre wing, so a fairly experienced campaigner.
Murphy, good mark. Murphy, midway between centre-half forward and left-half forward. Kicks long once more. A lot of jostling down there. Bremen fisting away in front of the jostlers. Malaxis slipped over. This would be a vital game for him this afternoon. He'd like to perform well. Panizza scrambles it towards the boundary, and it will be thrown in.
Well, both centres, Malaxis and Smallridge, playing very wide of each other at the moment, but Malaxis certainly having the better of the duel in the middle at this stage.
Nelson decisively. This is Willie Dick. Defensive side of half-back towards centre wing. Redden comes over the top, and that was a very good mark. Fiachi's got it now towards half-forward and Sims. Sims at left half-forward. Measures the options. Goes for distance towards the pocket. Murphy's in front of Bremen. Couldn't take the mark. Recovers well. Smallridge from about 45 metres out. Sprays it out of bounds on the full in the left full-forward pocket.
Local crowd would love that. Smallridge, former East Fremantle player, now with Port Adelaide. Lynn Medal winner. Back playing against his old state.
He's averaging close to 30 possessions a game for Port.
Very talented footballer.
This is Brad William in the back pocket. Going towards the outer side. Nelson comes in from the side. Couldn't hang on. Smallridge again with the right foot this time. Maley jostling from behind. Couldn't get hands to it effectively. Passeri over the top. William tries to go out of mid-air. Still he tracks it towards the boundary. Aided by a good shepherd by McGovern. And will eventually pushed across the line.
South Australia, a very tall side, Dennis. One hopes that they're not going to get the dominance in the air that they look like they could get. Tall and powerful. Western Australia, on the other hand, like to keep the ball close to the ground.
Plenty of the ball at the present time, South Australia. Played mostly in their forward line as Smith goes looking for Murphy. Panizza did best. Across the ground. Malaxis now. Can Western Australia make something of this? He goes in short. Ratzlaff slipped over. Fiachi, as John said, well up the ground. Smallridge in trouble on one knee. Sims, has he got the pace? Yes, he has, and the composure. Redden goes in short. Banfield. Banfield can go again. Mark Williams is free. He's got it.
Danger for Western Australia.
The veteran. Former best and fairest Collingwood. Played with the Brisbane Bears. He's been a marvellous warhorse. What a famous footballing name. Williams. May have missed.
Judging by the crowd reaction, I'd say he has. Gary Smallridge was just in the hands of the South Australian trainer for a couple of seconds. Don't think there's any great problem with him.
Despite all their attacking, that's their first score, South Australia. William comes in, member side with a kick. Nelson, who's been lively, takes the mark. He's at left half back. He'll be looking to do well this afternoon. Played 23 games for West Torrens. Missed down there by Kickett. Banfield in trouble, lays it off. Fiachi, he's been very busy. Malaxis slides in, robs him of the ball. Hines over the top. Retzlaff's got it now in centre wing to Hodel. Hodel running down towards right half forward. Spears the pass it intended for Hutton. Northeast goes back though and takes a very timely defensive mark. At full stretch. There she is, folks, the kicking style towards the outer side. Fiachi was up, knocking it away.
It's different.
Delaney. Well, to us it is. The South Australians, I guess, are well used to it. Hodel. We'll see it again. Southeast.
Nothing wrong with that, Dennis.
Northeast. He goes short. He's talking about the direction of the drop. Delaney towards midfield. Loose ball. Hines. In goes Scott. Going nowhere. Back goes Hines. Couldn't control it. And we've got a whistle, and it's a free kick to Banfield.
Their half-forward line is tall and strong, South Australia. They're getting plenty of the ball down there.
Twisted away by McIntyre. The role's reversed momentarily. Passeri knocks it out of bounds.
The South Australia, Dennis, certainly having more than their fair share of the ball, but they just don't seem to be able to score. Midfield, they're doing well. Malaxis, I think, is the fellow who's thwarting most of their attacking attempts. He's playing a strong game in the centre for Western Australia.
Riley was dragged off that one. Williams in there. Smallridge back to Nayley. High kick down towards the pocket. Murphy, clever mark. Very clever.
You can see it again. Murphy starts off from behind, gets his way in front, and takes a good strong mark over Western Australia's Darryl Peniza. And an excellent opportunity from about 35 metres out, slight angle to bring up South Australia's first.
Yes, if he gets this, South Australia will lead by a point. I saw him against Footscray in an AFL match a few weeks back, and he played very well on the forward line in that game, so he's going to be a tough customer for Western Australia. There goes his kick. It looks very good. South Australia in front. 1-1 to a goal. Back in the middle. Redden goes over the top and gets it down. Banfield, who's been busy, to Williams. Kick smothered. Sims. Sims, a probing kick down towards McIntyre. William behind. Off hands Nayley. 15 metres out. Dragged off it by Passeri. Passeri is tagging him. Smith tried to go off the ground. Nayley didn't. Gets the goal.
Western Australia, Dennis, not getting the ball out of the centre. Malaxis is playing well, but he's doing most of his good work down in defence. They've got to get that ball forward from the centre bounce downs, which they're not doing at the moment. Maybe they can now.
Dick gave it to McGovern. In two minds, McGovern. His first state game. As a result, some indecision likely early. This is Heel on the outer side. Chip pass intended for Smallridge. Wide of the mark. He played it very well, kept it in. Now here's trouble. Banfield loves a run. His second bounce. He runs down towards the 50. Not a good kick, though, and as a result, Western Australia bring it out. That was poor football. Peniza chopped it out, goes looking for Dick. Plays on quickly to Hines. Confronted. Hines back towards Dick. Mitchell is breaking towards the members' side. He's got it now. Good hard run by Mitchell.
Too far out to score.
Hutton is the target. Delaney almost the mark. He's claiming it down there with some justification.
I agree with you. He punched the ball and was able to come in and take the grab. And Hutton giving away a couple of inches. I think they're going to have to bring the ball into him low.
At the top, Edwards. This is Tasker. Swings it out wide, so a foot race back. This will be interesting. Two speedsters. Heel and Norrish. Down goes Heel. Norrish over the top. An anticlimax, really. And we've got a throw in. There's the WA bench. Langdon down the far end. Alongside Baroni and West. It'll be nice if West gets that there with what? Northwest? Northeast. We're surrounded. Southwest.
All points, Dennis. All points.
There goes Williams. Passeri goes back. Takes it out of bounds.
I think they need to get a Carl Langdon down into that forward line for Western Australia. They're lacking a little bit of height down there. Just looking at the matchups, Hutton, I don't think is certainly giving away inches. They've got to bring the ball in a lot more accurately. Perhaps Carl Langdon's the one that could do it.
Maley held without it, I thought. No, it goes the other way. Passeri has been given the role on Nayley this afternoon with the kick. Towards midfield. Good mark by Hall on the lead.
This is where they're having their problems, Dennis, across that half-forward line.
Well, aided by the smother almost, with the deflection by the man on the mark more correctly. Kick it back to Hall. Hodel. Malaxis smothered again. Fiachi. This time it works to South Australia's advantage, but Malaxis comes back and does the same thing.
Good defensive work by Malaxis then to keep the ball in Western Australia's forward line. This is the sort of thing that they've got to do. Get the ball close to the ground so their little men can take advantage.
Mitchell trying to give it to Kickett. Comes back to Mitchell. Under pressure. Fiachi goes back with a running ball. Played it brilliantly. Delaney sends play back towards the outer side wing. Malaxis in front. To the top, Bremen. This is Kickett. Gets away. Charged down by Sims that time. So around the boot, the South Australians very effective when WA have got the ball.
A lot of discipline, Dennis. It does take discipline. It does take courage to smother the ball when it's coming off the boot. South Australia doing it well.
Williams floats one down towards half forward. Off hands. Nayley runs to 50. Tried to be a little too cute. McIntyre back to Smith. 40 metres out, Smith. That's a terrible kick. Now, I'm not sure Nayley couldn't have run another 20 metres and kicked a goal.
There's no doubt about that. I think you're right. You called it dead right. He was trying to be a little bit flash with the ball. He's got a good kick. He was running at top pace. He could have had a bounce and a shot.
Still, that's a mistake on the positive side, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You'd rather see them do that than try and kick the impossible goal. Nelson.
Need more from the big fella around the ground. Here's a chance for WA on the far side of the ground.
Wetzlaff. Now he can really run another 50 metres if he wants, but he elects to kick. Hutton on the lead. Delaney over the top. Hutton claims the mark in front. Play on is the call. Fiachi picks it up and runs it out of bounds. Fiachi getting a lot of possessions early and playing very well.
Yes, he's playing up the ground, Dennis. He's bouncing off his man. He's leaving him when he has to. And Western Australia in problems, or have problems down at full forward. I just don't think Hutton is tall enough or mobile enough for his man.
Edwards gets a free kick. Craig Edwards going for distance. Holds up in the breeze. Delaney tries to go off the ground, then slaps it towards the boundary line. Deliberate's the call.
Delaney obviously doesn't agree with it, but I think it was a fair decision, Dennis. A brave decision down in front of goal.
Delaney's arguing the point, I think, that he was trying to force it behind. And he was. I reckon he was trying to force it behind.
Not a bad argument. Agree with that.
Now that is an interesting situation, and the farcical nature of the interpretation of the rule. That really does highlight it. Can't package that and take it back to Melbourne.
Can't argue with that.
Hutton out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. I need that tape, John. I've been losing the argument until now.
Dennis, I reckon that's going to strengthen your argument no end, because I agree with you entirely. He was definitely trying to force it behind and shouldn't have been penalised.
This is Sims in the back pocket. Members side with a kick. Big pack at the fall of the ball.
Too many Western Australians up.
Right. Mitchell left it behind. Very scrambly. Redden feeds it off eventually. And a long kick from Rouvray. Clears centre wing and comes down towards right half forward. Hines goes back. Smith trying to soccer it, missed it. Williams did well. Tried to keep it in, but all to no avail. So another boundary throw in at right half forward for South Australia. We're playing the better football.
Yes, they are. I don't think Western Australian footballers are talking enough to each other. There's too many going for the ball. South Australians have got one up and the rest are waiting for the crumbs, and consequently they're benefiting from that.
Here's Nayley towards the pocket. McIntyre gathers the bouncing ball. He was taken high and will get the free kick. It was clipped over the right ear.
Silly play.
He's coming out strongly in front, McIntyre.
You can have a look at this again. Yes. An attempt to go for the ball, not sure. Now the wind is blowing across the ground, so this is going to push this kick from right to left. He'll want to aim for that right-hand goalpost.
McIntyre, good-looking kick. He's put it through.
Does it superbly.
There's the bounce back in the middle. Redden gets it down decisively. Heel to Banfield, who storms towards centre half forward. South Australia playing some very good footy. McIntyre favoured by the bounce and his bulk, but then proceeds to kick it out of bounds on the full.
Well, the home side needs more from their centre line players. They're not getting enough off the wings. South Australia just able to break away very quickly. They've got plenty of pace in Banfield and Rouvray.
Freeman going for distance, knocked on well by Edwards. Wetzlaff in trouble, needs support. He keeps it in front. Well played. Gets it up looking for Malaxis, who can't do much with it, confronted by Banfield. Nayley came in on Malaxis. Nothing much to it. We've got a boundary throw, and there's the time remaining. Redden doing very well. Rouvray towards half forward. Bennett controlled it to the ground. Heel over the ball, trying to get it out to Sims. Norris gave it to Panizza. This is Wetzlaff, run down superbly by Smallridge. That could be holding the ball. It is.
Good decision, great tackle. More desperation in the South Australian side than WA at the moment.
Smallridge going for distance, and you can sense the confidence in the South Australians rising already. Fisted away by Bremen. Sims, open goal. Just didn't go the right way for him.
That's the point I meant, Dennis. They've got players at the fall of the ball. There's one up, the rest are waiting on the ground, and they're reaping the benefit because of the way they're playing that particular style of footy.
Freeman marks the kick in. And you can sense, John, they like their chances now, just in the way they're carrying themselves.
Sure. Well, with 3-1 on the board, that's it's not a bad start.
This sort of game's very much about the unknown quality of the opposition. Edwards gives it to Pasiri. Pasiri towards half forward. Northeast in front, off his hands. Rouvray in trouble, tracked by Mitchell. Hoists one very high. Hall goes up, almost the mark, off his hands, out of bounds.
I don't like the way Western Australia are just bombing the ball down into the forward line. There's no movement in their forward line. Consequently, midfield players, when they're getting it, have got nothing to kick to.
Nelson got it down. Kick it, had it in front, then lost it. Nelson knocks it forward, taken by Tasker. McGovern, man on in the middle, Malaxis. Not a particularly good kick. As a result, Malaxis in trouble now. Well done by Nailey. Pasiri applying good pressure. Nailey got it across to Bennett. Hurried kick out wide. Edwards in the road though. Well shepherded. Edwards with some time as a result of the Scott shepherd, but the kick not good. This is McGovern. Now he lacked the shepherd, some indecision. Eventually he gets a kick off. It was touched. Hodel 50 metres out. Vacant goal square. Delaney's going back. That ball really runs on. It pitched and ran quickly. Went through for a minor score.
A bit more desperation shown by the WA forwards on that occasion. They're going to have to do a lot more of that if they're to peg back this lead that South Australia enjoy at the moment.
21-7. On to Delaney. Back from Fitzroy. Drives it towards the outer side. Smallridge was up. Heel waits behind. Kicks it towards centre wing. Kapler's got it now. If he gets away, there's trouble here for Western Australia. It was held by the leg. No free kick. Kapler goes on. Kicks it towards half forward. Not a particularly good kick. It ricochets off a defender and goes out of bounds.
Dennis, there's an air of desperation about the South Australians that doesn't appear to be present with Western Australia at the moment. The South Australians appear to want the ball more. I think the scoreboard reflects that.
Towards the boundary it goes. Heel keeps it in. Banfield almost the mark. Malaxis stood up in the tackle. Well done by Williams. Smothered the hand pass. Went after it again. Now an opportunity for Smith in the pocket. He pulls it back towards the kick-off line. Murphy should have marked it. McIntyre dragged off it. Hand pass comes out eventually. Well done by Scott to Panizza. WA a bit lucky there. Panizza goes in short. Malaxis takes a very gutsy mark.
Courageous stuff from Malaxis, and maybe that play in defence is what's going to spark Western Australia. That was excellent, desperate defensive play.
Scott was the prime mover there. This is Dick now towards centre wing. Off the boot of Retzlaff, it runs across the line. Mind you, going back to that chance that South Australia had created by the work by Williams on the outer side, Murphy was waiting to be hit by the pack. He should have taken the mark. And McIntyre, who did well to keep players off him, a bit surprised he got the ball.
It was a golden opportunity gone begging as far as SA was concerned.
Smith pushing it forward. Scott. Well done by Dick. McGovern. Across to Breman.
This is better.
Retzlaff with some space in the middle. Looking for Hutton. Up he comes on the lead and takes the mark.
That's exactly the point I was making. And finally they get a little bit of movement in the forward line. Hutton can break away, and the players have got the accuracy to be able to deliver the ball to him. No good just kicking it long and deep into the forward line. Long way out though, Dennis.
Yes, we'll take a good kick from here. He kicks from about 60. Off to the right. Big pack into the air down there, and a great mark is taken by Hall. What a strong pack mark that was.
Indeed. He was right in the middle of it too. Let's have a look at it again. It looked for all money like it was going to go through for a behind, but that was a strong mark.
He's gone short and found Pasiri. When I say short, very short.
Makes you wonder how you can get 10 metres out of that, doesn't it? He's almost in the same spot.
I think they counted the arc. So Pasiri will kick a goal from about 15 out.
They need this, Dennis.
Desperately.
1-1-3-3.
And he's got it. Initially, then fell over. Williams knocks it down. Smith goes off the ground. It's an interesting one. A bit of bias on that. Banfield did well. They battle after it. Eventually, Pasiri comes away with it. The goal kicker goes long towards half forward. Northeastern from the side. Piaggi came the other way. Somehow, Hodel emerges with the ball 35 metres out. Going back, Tasker. He's marked it right on the line. Well done, young man. Sean Tasker.
Well, that's the sort of thing Western Australia have got to do. Put pressure on South Australia and force the error as the quarter ends.
Yes, so quarter time at Subiaco Oval, and it's 3-3 to 2-1. South Australia lead, and it's been very entertaining. Australia lead 21 to 13.
Predictably, Dennis, Carl Langdon has come on to give some bite to the Western Australian half-forward line, playing at centre half-forward. Alan Bartlett picking him up.
Mark Manley driving now towards right half-forward for South Australia. This is Sims in front. Kicks it virtually straight up in the air. Oh, what a good effort. Will it be paid? Yes, it is to Smith. It's a great mark. Barely went the distance. Certainly A for effort there. Heel. It's a good kick, and Heel stood his ground manfully and now has a chance to score from 50 out directly in front.
Not the sort of start that Western Australia would have wanted. Certainly for South Australia, very positive.
Simon Heel. May not have the carry over the top. Edwards, two-handed fist away. McIntyre with strength. Still he goes after it. Banfield was taken high off the ball and will get a free kick.
They can't afford to be doing that, Dennis, and that's a penalty they're paying from coming from behind. Oh, gee, it's just a kick, if that. A little soft, the free kick, but the fact of the matter is that the defenders have got to be in front, and they've got to be first to the ball. They lay hands on an opposition player, they can give away a kick.
Yes, Banfield in the right spot. And the kick. I think he's kicked the goal. He has. The fourth to South Australia. 4-3 to 2-1.
Western Australia can ill afford to be giving away free kicks down in the forward line. Just enlarging on what I was saying a second ago, they must be first to ball. They've got to read the ball when it's coming down into the forward line, because if they allow their opponents to get in front of them, the chances are they're going to give away a kick, and South Australia are just the sort of side that can capitalise on that.
27 plays 14. Western Australia needing the next goal. That's a very good bounce. Redden gets it down. Nayley lively in the centre square. Redden off the ground will almost. Kept it very low. Heel drifting back. The mark is taken by Dick. Generally, that's been the story of the game. South Australia getting first use of the ball out of the middle. This is Hines on the outer side wing. Former South Australian Premiership player with Port. I think he played in 3 Premiership teams. This is Fiachi. He would have played with him. Sends it back towards centre wing. Redden got a hand to it. Edwards goes back, does well, then lost it. Redden tries to slap it out. Edwards emerges with the ball. This is Retzlaff, who got it from Basiri and goes long down towards the pocket. Delaney comes up in front, though, and takes the defensive mark.
That sort of kick into the forward line is tailor-made for Delaney. He loves it.
Roger Delaney. Laconic kicking style, so easy towards the outer side. Nayley in everything at the moment, does nicely, flicks it across to a teammate in Kapler. A long kick towards half forward. Bennett, who's been quiet. Smallridge gets the hand pass across to Banfield. Banfield out towards left half forward. Panizza was held, no free kick. Murphy does well. Heel had the misfortune to slip. Down he goes. We're going in pretty solidly. Scott at the base of that knocks it out, but only as far as Bennett. Banfield's got it now. The kick is away with one and goes out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. Some smart play at close quarters there. Heel did well to get it to Banfield.
They're certainly combining the better of the two, Dennis, and they're exerting enormous pressure on the Western Australian defence. And one hopes, of course, for WA's sake, that they can hold up, because South Australia is certainly dominating midfield at the moment.
Hines kicked it towards half back. Breeman. Look at that kick. For this part of 70 metres. Mitchell missed it initially, then does well. Hodel couldn't control it. Now in trouble, Retzlaff lost the ball. Kapler got it to Smallridge, now Williams, but there was a throw in there. And it will come back to Western Australia's Retzlaff alongside the centre circle. The chip pass across the ground to Malaxis. Hodel is breaking for him. He ignores that. Spears it in towards centre half forward. Hutton had the break on Delaney. And that's what he must do. He's got to run as hard as he can. Run very aggressively off Delaney, because Delaney man-to-man is simply too big.
Yep, you've called it well. That's the only way he's going to get away from Delaney.
Well, it's not a bad kick over a distance.
And he's going to be kicking over one.
Yes, this from about 55. A little tester.
Carl Langdon yet to get into the game.
It falls short, off hands. Rouvray just stood there and thumped it through. A touch of arrogance. Well done.
Yes, they seem to have it all together at the moment, SA. They're combining aggression with good play, and they've certainly got numbers at the fall of the ball which WA haven't got.
A beautiful kick in. The West Australians changing their ruckman, Nelson and Edwards in the forward pocket, and obviously Tasker's role is to run off them at kick-ins, and we saw that illustrated there. Tasker towards centre wing. Edwards takes the mark out there for Western Australia. He's the man on the ball at the present time. Nelson down in the pocket. Nelson decides he'll make a lead. Awkward half volley for him. He keeps it in front. Made it pretty well. Dishes it out towards McGovern, but a throw is called. So Tasker will get the free kick up towards centre wing.
So they're playing that wrongly as well. I mean, Nelson is not a leading player. He's a man who's got to take the tall mark. They just seem to be getting like that, for example, with Nelson. With Craig Edwards. They've just got to work out their game plan a little better.
Yes, it was Kapler who kicked it to him, actually. He came to get the kick. Doesn't matter much. Fiachi puts one straight out of bounds. On the full, so WA to get the free out there. This is McGovern in front of the scoreboard. Shows WA trailing by 13 points. Long down towards the attacking 50. Clears the pack. Here's Langdon. And the roar goes up. Carl Langdon pulls it back across his body, and going back, a strong mark is taken by Hutton. A very good mark, and now 50. Well, he showed a lot of courage there, Hutton, and should get a goal.
And deserves it. That was a very courageous mark, Dennis. He was under an enormous amount of pressure, and he stood his ground. There's no question about the man's courage. Let's have a look at it again.
Was there a 50 there?
Yes, there was.
Hutton. Point blank range gets it. Game. It'll be terrific for footy if we do. Redden, superb ruck knock to Nayley, who hand passes down towards half forward. Freeman running towards his own defensive goal. Gives it to Hines, who boots it through the middle. That's a good kick. Mitchell. So the West Australians, you sense now, starting to run a little bit better. That's what they've got to do. Little chip pass. That's ambitious. Great mark, though, taken over the top by Hall.
Yeah, this is the thing they're doing, Dennis. They're getting the ball down into the forward line quickly so that there's someone there in the open.
Hall, long kick. Nelson should mark this. Always favoured by the kick drop.
Absolutely. You could see that was going to happen. They've got a little bit of height down in their forward line. And they're getting Hutton to lead out to leave Nelson down there to take the big grab, which he did just then. Difficult angle. Goal would be very, very handy.
He runs around, he kicks, he misses. Out of bounds on the full. In the right full forward pocket. Still encouraging signs now for Western Australia. Of course, buoyed by the support. The crowd has really filled in since the start of the game. Edwards taking some fine marks now.
And South Australia is starting to do what Western Australia was doing early, just kicking the ball high, wide and handsome.
Edwards, the 89 Brownlow medalist, well, Sandover medalist, kicks it back in. That's an elevation. They battle after it, and it's holding the ball down there, called against the West Australian player Pasiri. Redden wastes no time. Tasker upended, and the ball goes towards the boundary line. On the second bounce, it goes out.
Hutton just missed the hand pass, then it was on. Langdon was by himself. Hutton had a fresh air shot with the ball. Consequently, SA able to temporarily anyway get it out of trouble. A beautiful tap.
Redden to Nayley. They're combining well. Nayley around the outer side. Freeman. Outstanding mark. Defensive side of centre wing. Long kick back towards half forward. Edwards in from the side again. Fisted away that time by the defence, though. Baroni crashes in. Keeping the ball in front is Kapler. Goes off the ground towards half forward. Lockhurst is on the ground. Got it across towards Banfield, who keeps it in front. Well, he did initially. Dick slaps it out nicely to accommodate Freeman. The game is lifted in tempo now. This is Redslap towards half forward, and Mitchell. Mitchell is becoming lively on the forward line. Advantage should have been paid. Now the South Australian umpire had the misfortune to be in charge then, and he didn't allow the play on. So it comes back to Mitchell as Langdon was breaking through half forward with the runner inside.
They're leading a bit early. The game plan obviously is to put it up high for Nelson. And the little fellas to feed off it as there's a chance now.
So much for game plans. Hodel hand pass to Nelson. He was suddenly in the role of a sharpshooter.
Caught me out again.
Still WA looking good now. It's turned around. Momentum has swung as Delaney finds Williams.
They must keep that ball in their forward line though.
It's 4-3 to 3-3. Loose ball on the outer side. Kapler goes off the ground. Malaxis leading back in the race. Brockhurst is coming up to meet him. Brockhurst got the ball and missed it as he tried to kick it further downfield.
One can sense far more intensity and far better use of the ball as far as Western Australia is concerned, and South Australia not enjoying the dominance that they had early. Certainly doing better in the ruck, but the West Australian little fella starting to come into the game, Dennis.
Yep, Kapler puts it out of bounds on the full. And Malaxis will take the kick out there for Western Australia. Plays on, Steve Malaxis. Goes for distance towards centre half forward. Langdon jostled out of it. South Australia bring it away. Fiachi took it from Bartlett. The kick comes towards half forward. Murphy almost had Panizza before Panizza had the ball. This is Heel. A bit goes on between Panizza and Murphy, and a couple of big punches exchanged there. Meantime, the ball is running goalward, and it's gone through. So Heel's kicked a goal. Play restarts. Banfield with it. Clever hands away to Smallridge. Long telling kick down towards full forward. McIntyre's in front, off hands. Panizza out of midair. Goes out towards the boundary line. Vasiri does nicely. Checks. Goes looking for Malaxis. Interesting by Sims. Malaxis comes up with the footy. 5-3 to 3-3. Important time in the game, one senses now. Both teams really flexing their muscles. Scott gave it across to support. William towards half forward. Baroni pushed in the back surely. Mitchell's got it. There's no free kick for Baroni. Out of bounds, says the umpire. We've got a throw in. Appeared to be a free.
Yes, I thought he may have earned one there. Not forthcoming, but at least the home side have got the ball down in their forward line. But gee, South Australia are doing well in the ruck. They're palming very accurately, and it makes it extremely difficult for the WA small men to try and shark the ball.
Robbie West waiting to come on. Throw in on the outer side wing. Bartlett gained about 10 metres. Baroni goes down. Langdon's got it. Crowd love it. Langdon down towards the pocket. Tasker goes back and takes the mark.
No big men down there. It was a 2-on-1 situation. Hutton had no chance in the world.
Tasker drives it towards the half-back line for South Australia. Redden was up. Knocked on there by Kapler. Taken by Smallridge. He was tackled by Langdon. Nelson went down. Redden hand passes towards the boundary line. A bit happening again off the ball. Meantime, Mitchell has got it. Player slow to get up. The umpire's seen something.
Yeah.
And it's coming back to Langdon.
Yes, he was rather heavily dealt with at one stage. Well off the ball, as you called it, Dennis.
Langdon probing kick into the forward line. Behind the pack, Dick can't do much with it. It goes out of bounds.
Looks like Willie Dick's been moved down into the forward line, or may well be on the ball. Didn't like him in the back line. We sort of said that in the introduction. He's not used to playing in defence, and I think his role is as a goal kicker down on the forward line. Although these days it's very hard to tell, isn't it?
Now South Australia changing the nature of their forward line. McIntyre's come off and Page has gone on. Meantime, at the other end, Hodel snaps and is missed. So suddenly the matchup is William on Page, and the West Australian defenders sorting it out for themselves at the other end. There's Peter Hodel, as Panizza, I think, is going across to pick up Page, and William will move on to Murphy. This is Delaney. It's a little bit confusing, I know. 5-3 to 3-4. Delaney goes in short and finds Tasker.
There's 8 players forward of the centre line for South Australia.
Bartlett a little bit slow. Langdon relishing this, pulls it back. Delaney will have to go. It clears he and Edwards. Delaney will be first back. He took it out of bounds. No, he kept it in and did brilliantly. Fiachi, the understanding of the Port players again in evidence. The short one is onto Smallridge. So a trio of them bring it out. Smallridge in 2 minds. Didn't look. High kick towards midfield. Smith was up. In front, West slaps it out well. Taken by Redslap. Got it to Pasiri. This is Mitchell. Had it knocked away by Smallridge. Naily went in rather clumsily.
Yes.
And the free kick will be to a West Australian. I think it'll go to Pasiri, his marker.
As you said, Dennis, the intensity is starting to show. Oh yeah, Naily just put a saddle on. Ride 'em cowboy.
Actually, Kevin Mitchell, who was in that pack, has the distinction of riding a winner at Belmont Park. Not many footballers can boast that. This is Kapler.
I'll believe you.
Back towards midfield. Up comes Bremen to take the mark. I've liked his game in defence, John.
He's played extremely well off the half-back line, Dennis. He's got that pace and agility that has made his game what it is. I still like him as a forward. I must admit he's the guy that can kick the ball long.
He won the goal kicking in 87 and 88, playing for Subiaco. Kicks inside the 50. Hall had it, then it slipped through his hands. This is Mitchell, the man we were talking about, from 45. Not a good effort, though. Back goes Bartlett. A little bit slippery down there, just watching one or two of them move. A plant foot with the kick on occasions is moving. Viacci towards centre wing. Courage shown by West, who stood his ground in front. And again there. Just slipperier than perhaps we believed at the start.
There hasn't been any rain, but you're right.
Hutton should have marked it. Didn't.
Lack of confidence.
Northeast towards half forward. Bremen goes back and takes another good mark.
He's holding that half-back line together, Dennis. He's a stumbling block at the moment for SA. He's keeping Williams well and truly held.
He uses the ball so well. And again, although Redslap didn't help him, Scott's in trouble now. Western Australia very lucky to get out of that. On centre wing. Fisted forward out there by Brockhurst. Now an opportunity for Banfield. Lunging hand pass to Page. Back to Brockhurst. 60 metres out from goal. That's a good kick. Murphy is favoured by it. Well, the West Australian defenders may get out of this as well. Loose ball though in the goal square. It came off Bremen, and Murphy's soccer is missed.
Somebody should have told him. He had plenty of time to pick that up. That was a golden opportunity for South Australia to put their sixth. He had ample opportunity, but obviously nobody told him.
Scott initially got a piece of the ball, gave his teammates a chance to get back and help out, but then they blew it again. West takes the mark from the kick in. The Victorian recruited by the Eagles, Robbie West, playing for West Perth. Who else would have him? Mark is taken by Langdon. Baroni swings it out wide. This is Hall, a runner inside Redslap. He elects to kick it down towards the attacking 50. Out comes Delaney. Redslap ran on. Goes across the boundary line. We'll have it thrown in. So the crowd finding some voice now, and this certainly has lifted the game in the second term. Not that it was bad in the first quarter, but more intensity, as you'd expect from two sides feeling each other out. They didn't know what to expect coming in, a bit like us, but now they've assessed the opposition. There's the footballing legend, WA's coach, Larry Cable. His opposite number this afternoon, John Cale. Imposing record that man has, coaching in South Australia, and for that matter, in the VFL, as Mitchell gets it across to Hall, back to Mitchell, who's got plenty of pace. He knocks it on. Tasker stood his ground, slapped it out. Back it comes to Mitchell. Nobody in the goal square, so he needs to hang on to the ball. It took a deflection. It comes to Edwards. WA very lucky, but they might get a goal. Hodel. 4-4. Top game of footy. Redslap, who's done some good work out of the middle. Delaney, he'd make a good wicketkeeper. Used his pads that time. This is Rouvray towards the pocket. Tasker's got it now for South Australia. Smallridge should mark this. They've got a 2-on-1 situation. Making it hard was West, and Smallridge did well. He's looking for 50. Nothing forthcoming. So Robbie West has come out and immediately got involved. Smallridge.
That was good play by West.
Down towards half forward with his kick. Hines. Siri couldn't control it. It's out of bounds. There's John Cale. Well, what can we say about him? 7 premierships at Port, 2 hat-tricks. He spent 2 seasons at Collingwood. They finished 3rd in his 2nd season. This is Naily towards half forward, going back. Baroni in trouble, and passed into more trouble. Picked up though by Hines. Dick to Hines. In fact, it's Panizza who ran on. Kicks it towards the outer side. Redslap. Redslap picks it up. Steady. It's a little chip pass. Hodel.
Yeah, they're getting more out of their half-forward line now. Hodel particularly.
Centering kick intended for Hall. Haley showed courage going back. He needed some more there. Met solidly. Hutton put him down. Hutton running away from his own goal. Pulls it back across his body. In front, Tasker. Now the young man's in trouble, surrounded by 3 West Australians. It was taken off him by Pasiri. He did very well then, Sean Tasker. He slipped over. Delaney gives him his due credit.
One could have almost sensed a kick there, Dennis. I just think that perhaps had the ball been somewhere else on the ground, that may well have been holding the ball.
Run down by Edwards. Mitchell to Hutton. Across it comes to Malaxis. Malaxis 30 metres out. Misses. Oh, she's livened up, John.
They've closed it to within 5 points, Dennis. And there is an intensity about this game that we hadn't seen in the first quarter. And this is shaping to be a very, very good contest.
Well,
desperation more than skill at the moment.
If these players are surplus to the Crows and the Eagles, footy's in a very healthy state in Western Australia and South Australia. This is Rouvray on the outer side, draws a man, pops it over the top. Tasker away again. He's run up the ground, creating that lead out of the back pocket towards the outer side. Scott goes after it. Crashing his way through out there was Dick. Off the ground, Baroni towards the outer side, but only as far as this man Bartlett, who sends it back in for South Australia. Going back with great courage was Panizza. Now an opportunity for Page. Quick hand pass away. Brockhurst couldn't control it. Out of bounds, and we've got a throw it.
Fast breakaway seemed to be the order of the day. Quick transition from defence into attack by both sides. It's good stuff.
Nelson. Chick Whitten on the ground now. More ways than one. And we'll have a bounce 50 metres out from WA's defensive goal.
Almost into time on in the second quarter, Dennis. 5 points.
Well, I hope we get a stirring finish. We've seen some great interstate games on this ground in the last decade or so. The series kick went very high. Page did well to get it on the ground for South Australia. Could have almost been a free kick to Smallridge. Nothing doing. Scramble after it again, and we've got a whistle.
Had a look at that on the monitor, Dennis. WA very lucky then. Smallridge was definitely carried forward, and he would have been well within kicking distance.
Here's the bounce. Over the top, Brockhurst. Nayley. Can he control it? Yes, he can. Well done. Gets it to Smith. Bumped off the kick by Nelson. Goes about 30 metres. Taken by Malaxis, who decides to run it out. Breakers towards the members' side. One of whom is Retzlaff. I've liked his game.
Yes. Not a lot on offer for him, though. We're leading a bit early.
Langdon comes back towards Hall. Fiachi goes off the ground. Standing his ground was Scott, who did very well. The bodies are really going in now. West, Breeman. Back it comes to Malaxis, up from half back to Nelson. It needs a kick now. He does that towards the outer side wing. The mark is taken by Pasiri. Pasiri looking for Hutton. Delaney in close attendance, but Hutton had a couple of metres and that was enough.
Too far out to score, Dennis.
Hutton a centering kick. Edwards is going back. In from the side, Rouvray. He was lucky, Rouvray. Flying over the top was Hall. Rouvray to get the free kick. Always the dangerous one, John. You worry about the safety of players when they're head down and they're taken front on.
And eyes only for the ball too had Rouvray.
Yeah. Off Bartlett's hands. Heel. Awkward one for Page. It arrived very quickly. Panizza. Back towards centre half forward. Hodel. 50 metres out, Hodel. Nayley got there very quickly. Made up the last 5 metres. Down goes northeast. It was met solidly by Baroni. Away comes Nayley. Nayley gets it out wide, Brockhurst. So an opportunity now for South Australia. Chick Whitten is breaking. That's the direction the kick takes. He keeps it in. He's marked this one about 60 metres out. On in the middle is Smallridge. Smallridge on the 50-metre line wants to go. Lack of talking. Bumped off the kick. It's still not a bad one. And Murphy's taken the mark in the goal square.
A fist was needed down there. Willem needed to get a fist to that ball. I guess being a little unkind to the guy.
It's a good effort by Murphy.
Yes, an excellent mark. Excellent mark from Murphy and good goal.
Rucks go at it. Nelson. Smallridge. Pretty well, especially late in this term. Back goes Breeman. He reached that kick out of the middle from Smallridge pretty well. Langdon on the lead was interfered with. No free. Smallridge, covering a lot of ground, comes across and knocks it out of bounds. So he's certainly come back on a mission.
Gary Smallridge has had an excellent, particularly second quarter. I thought Malaxis had the call over him in the first, but it's been all Smallridge in the second.
Malaxis got it from Mitchell. Smallridge again in the thick of things.
That's going to hurt.
Yes, cannoning in was Hodel. South Australia paid the advantage. Nailey's got it now. They can make a goal out of this. Chigwitten, 50 metres out, lines up. Good-looking kick. Going back is Murphy. William over the top. I think Murphy wants a mark. It bounced, I think, just in front of him. No, he's paid the mark, has he, the umpire? He has paid the mark to Murphy.
Be interested to have a look at that one again.
Here we go. Hard to tell.
Murphy's got two, coming in for number 3.
Walks around, just narrows the angle, kicks, and misses. Well, certainly didn't bounce in front of him. I thought he picked it up on the half volley. What may have happened, it may have come out as he hit the ground, but gee, it was strong work anyway. And it was pretty close to a mark, if in fact it wasn't. The West Australians were arguing.
Craig Edwards off, Dennis, for Western Australia.
Had a pretty good term. Just trying to change the chemistry, I think, of the forward line and sneak a goal with Kickett in the forward pocket at the moment. This is Bremen. Look at that kick. About 70 metres. No one's there. For Western Australia anyway initially, although Mitchell, he is so quick. Mitchell pulls it back. Hutton on the lead. Well, Mitchell made something out of nothing there.
He was in a 2-1 situation then, Mitchell. He had nowhere to go. Kevin Mitchell did superbly to make something, as you said. And it's a lovely kick into Hutton, but I still think from 55 metres out, he may well be too far out to score. Breeze not a factor.
This is where he's getting all his kicks, isn't
it?
Fiacci and Northeast tangled a bit too to aid Mitchell, but even so, it was terrific play. And now Hutton, that is a long bomb. That's a massive kick.
Good call, John. Good call.
Can WA tie it up? The closing seconds of the half. Banfield, a high one. It floats towards the wing, and Page takes a very good mark. Plays on immediately. There's the siren as Heel kicks towards half forward. So the most entertaining first half here at Subiaco Oval. See South Australia lead by 6 points, 6-5 to 5-5, after they led by 8 points at quarter time. Murphy has 2 goals and singles to Nailey, Banfield and McIntyre. That's for South Australia. And for Western Australia, Hutton has 2 and singles to Hodel, Mitchell and Pasiri. A crowd of about 20,000 watching this game, and I think that's pretty good on a working Tuesday, and I think they're expecting a lot more to come in this second half. We'll be back shortly. Subiaco Oval, South Australia lead by 6 points as we go to the third term. Awkward bounce. Nelson does best. Out wide. Now it's a foot race. And Baroni's going very quickly. Keeps it in front. Good desperation from Bartlett. It comes back to him. He slaps it South Australia's way. Nelson's got it. Man on in the middle. He chips it across. Pasiri takes the mark. Pasiri. Short pass, that's ambitious. Kickett got a hand to it. It falls behind. The chip pass across the ground from Hodel. Opportunity for Baroni. Knocks it forward. Scramble after it. They tie it up in there. Northeast did well for South Australia. Steve Malaxis in there for Western Australia.
Been a very interesting duel between Malaxis and Smallridge.
Yes, one of the features of the game. Fiacci going nowhere. Langdon slung out of it. Kickett controls it well. Baroni now towards full forward. Tasker goes back and takes the mark.
He's played well in defence, Dennis. He's read the ball coming into the forward line, into West Australia's forward line well, and has used the ball extremely well out of defence as per just then.
Bartlett looking for Smith. Well played by Hines. Hand pass too slick though. Kickett couldn't control it. Rouvray got it from Bartlett. Northeast. Awkward kick, wobbles through centre. And the mark is taken in front by White. Plays on immediately. Nelson. Across the ground, not a good kick. Eventually South Australia with a chance. Banfield, well done. Nailey's away now. Nailey props, kicks long down towards full forward. It bounces to Sims, who left it behind. Page has got it, and he kicks a goal.
Excellent play by South Australia on that occasion. You can see the half forward flankers cutting in behind the leading full forward, and that's the way the ball went. carried the pack, and Sims in perfect position. He overran it, but look at the excellent back up there, and that's the sort of thing that South Australia have been doing so well today.
That's the sort of start Barry Cable would not want, as they slip further behind. Western Australia generally have battled to keep in touch. Nelson and Redden, nothing much doing there. Nelson goes a second time with some effect. Kickett running away from his own goal.
They need more from him.
Retzlaff goes for distance. Vacant goal square. Delaney's going back. It bounces awkwardly. It favoured the third man in succession there. That was Hall, who snaps. How will this one bounce? Langdon in a very awkward situation. Fiachi goes in and forces the behind.
Well, Langdon was all dressed up with nowhere to go then. The ball hit the ground and bounced straight up in the air, and he just had to camp underneath it and wait for it to come down, which of course it wasn't going to do.
Generally about then you make one of those impromptu players' comments.
Yes. Bottom.
Delaney towards the outer side. Little push by Redden. Good enough. Play goes on. This is Banfield on centre wing. Long towards half forward. Williams is up. Sims. Quick hands. Nicely done. Brockhurst gets it across to Smith. Again he's missed. He's missed to the right a couple of times today when he had the half chance to get a goal, or better than half chance.
He's a very inventive half forward. He's got too much pace for David Hines, and he's showing it. He's making himself available on many occasions, and just bad luck on the part of South Australia that prevented them from scoring another goal.
Old teammates playing on each other. Bremen. It's a good kick. Very clever kick. No margin for error there, and he found Pasiri.
Does use the ball well. Nelson's on in the middle if he wants him.
He does use him. Craig Nelson then goes for distance down towards half forward. Northeast backing on the pack there. It falls behind though. His man's got it now. Mitchell's kick, not a good one. Fell in short. Crashing through was Hutton, and he's going to get a free kick. He was tripped, I think, by Delaney.
Trip or a push, but don't know why. Mitchell was balanced. He had plenty of time to have steadied and had a shot at goal. Makes me think perhaps there isn't any talking going on in the Western Australian forward line, because Mitchell Dennis certainly had plenty of opportunity to score.
Yeah, no question. Should have been bread and butter stuff. Here's Hutton though, still with a chance, and he's kicked truly. That's his third goal. Hutton has 3 goals for Western Australia. Outpointed early by Delaney, but has come back strongly. Retzlaff towards half forward. Hodel has some time. High kick down towards the pocket. In front, Hall does well. Lays it off. Kickett fell over. Controlled it brilliantly. Dale Kickett, not a good kick though. Slides it right across the face. Rouvray pursued by Hutton. Now he's in trouble and walks across the line. How will they read that? Out of bounds is how they read that.
Hutton was appealing for the kick, and not without cause, I thought.
Throw in. Langdon doing the ruck work down there, opposed to Redden. Mitchell weaves a little magic, lays it off. West, not a good kick. Slices across the goal face once more. Kick it. Almost the mark. Running with the flight of the ball. Great courage. It was in then out. Watch this.
Very close.
Oh,
gee. And they need more from Kickett. He's been fairly quiet, but he's such an explosive, dynamic player, as we're about to see. And that's the sort of thing they've got to get from him on a more consistent basis.
Dale Kickett bobbing up in front of the pack and kicking the quick goal.
Yeah, as I said, Kickett been quiet on the half-forward flank, and I guess somebody's got into his ear at half-time, obviously the coach, and said, hey, you are the sort of player you are. We really do need more off the half-forward flank, an explosive player. Kickett, as he's proved on many occasions, both here and in Victoria, and that was an example of it. And Western Australia at the 6-minute mark have tied the score.
7-6 apiece. Over the top, Redden. Retzlaff played very well. Baroni, hurried kick towards half forward. Back goes Langdon. A buzz goes through the crowd. He's claimed by Bartlett. Got the ball off. Hodel has been busy in this turn. Pulls it back to Malaxis. So momentum has constantly swung today, and just for the moment it's with WA early in the third term. Malaxis going for distance down towards full forward. Tasker comes over the top and fists away. Off the ground by Northeast, taken by Fiachi. Gets it away to Kapler. Kapler towards the outer side. Retzlaff, aided by a good Shepherd, spears it back in. Mitchell, oh, it's Kickett.
That's the sort of thing they need from Kickett, which they didn't get from him in the first half.
Well, those two mercurial types were running to that area, both offering a lead.
That's good stuff by Kickett.
Yep. Dale Kickett, the Kickett goal from directly in front, about 40 metres out.
Any score would put WA in front.
It starts it right and it stays right. That's the margin between the two teams. 7-7 to 7-6. Delaney, as he must do, puts it pretty high in the air and away from himself. Comes again and boots to the outer side. Hines comes over the top. This is Banfield in the grasp, looking for Smallridge. Picked up by Smith, tackled by Mitchell. Mitchell gets it off the ground. Kickett. Suddenly he's alive on the forward line. Look at him go. Kickett from 40 metres out. Settles now. Has he got the accuracy? I think he has. Marvellous solo effort. South Australia taking a while to kickstart after the break. Nayley, can he do something? Down towards half forward with a kick. Page leads in the race. Out towards the boundary he comes. Slides over then. Kept it in. Panizza goes off the ground by hand, slapping it. This is West in trouble. Gained about 15 metres with a hand pass. Well done in a jam, and we've got a throw in.
What's happening, Dennis, is that the Western Australians are now starting to hunt in packs. They've got more than one option, whereas previously they only had one thing to do with the ball. Now they've got options, and that's making a big difference.
Nayley trying to lift his team down towards half forward. Brockhurst over the top to Sims. They can make something of this now. A runner inside Banfield. He should get the goal. No, it's not a good kick. Slides it right across the face. In the opposite pocket, William tracks it across the boundary line. And this crowd, even during the break, is built up. Probably about 25,000 now here at Subiaco Oval, watching this Tuesday interstate clash, and that's a great result. Throw in. Williams, who's gone out of the game, did something brilliantly there by getting it to Nayley, and Nayley runs into an open goal.
Yes, the Western Australian rucks caught on the hop then. No one was there for the throw-in. And South Australia, as you would expect from a good side, capitalised well through the boot of Nayley. You see it again. There's the hand pass. And that's Nayley's second goal, and he's doing it well for South Australia.
End-to-end stuff then. Point the difference. The home team lead. It'll be Nelson and Redden, as they've done for the best part of the day. Another good bounce. Decisive stuff. It falls at their feet. Smallridge went in and infringed. Malaxis will get the free kick. It's alongside the centre circle, Steve Malaxis. That's been an outstanding duel this afternoon. Kickett is down there with Northeast. It falls alongside them. Hodel.
He's playing well.
Yes, he sparked up in this term. Goes across the ground. Out comes Hutton. Going back his heel. Hutton over the top. Fine mark. Great courage too by the youngster from South Australia. He really committed to that. Watch this.
You could see Hutton had his name written all over that. Tragically for South Australia, Simon Hill had nowhere to go. He just had to wait for the ball to come. Hutton was at full flight, was able to take the ball over the top. Goal here would be very, very handy for the home side.
Well, he kicked 9 goals for Claremont at the weekend, kicking at his 4th here. Kicks from right on the 50. Distance doesn't seem to be a problem. Neither is accuracy. Bounce. Redden is up, gets it down. Nayley, just about every centre square takeaway he's been involved in. Across to Page, dragged off the kick. It floats down towards full forward. Williams in front, gets a fist on it. It comes out towards half back for Western Australia. Hines and Brockhurst. Brockhurst kept it in front. Baroni tracks it to the line, and it will be thrown in. Well, Mark Nayley is certainly leading by example out there for South Australia.
Fine player.
Smallridge over the top, big fist. Paid back in kind by William, who gets it out of bounds. Brad William, a West Coast Eagle who plays with West Perth in the local competition here in Western Australia.
Thrown in. Nelson gets it forward. Baroni dragged off it. Brockhurst tries to knock it out. Panizza kept it in front. Now he's in trouble. And a quick whistle. So a bounce down towards the pocket. John Painter is coming around towards the interchange gates. He's a player who's lively, plenty of experience. Could be handy here. As they're breaking down in the running department at the moment. They're being outrun by the West Australians. Oh, clever by West.
Very fortuitous. Nice pass.
Turn it up, John. White got it to Hodel. He's a West Perth man. Hodel goes long inside the attacking 50. We practiced that down there.
I got you at last.
Mitchell in trouble. Dragged off it by Tasker. Now an opportunity for Hall. Hall 45 metres out. Down towards full forward. It's floating. Back goes Delaney. Gets a fist on it. And through it goes for a minor score. Quick transference of play, that one.
Very quick transition as coming off for SA is Peter Banfield.
That's probably the penalty for missing that goal.
Yeah, Jack Painter's gone on. South Australia bring the ball back into play, and it's now with Alan Bartlett on the right half-back flank.
Yes, lunging mark by Bartlett, who kicks towards centre wing. Rouvray, that was a good mark, body to body with a quality opponent, and he did it. Rouvray towards half forward. Smith will fly over the top, and what a good mark that was.
Yes, he's certainly showing David Hines the way to play football at the moment. Hines can't go with him for pace, and certainly can't go with him for agility over the packs.
WA 9-8, South Australia 8-6. Nayley, so the experienced players for South Australia now required to step up. Here's the one that's taken the biggest step so far, Mark Nayley, who cribbed, I suppose, a couple of metres to his left, floats one down towards full forward, off hands, off the boot of a defender. It spills out towards half back. Downward heel, keeping the ball in front, Retzlaff, and he was held without it.
Yeah, he's playing well, Retzlaff, and that was great courage from Malaxis. He was set up and stood his ground, and you can thank Malaxis for the fact that Western Australia are going to temporarily at least get this ball out of the defensive zone.
Very good kick. Hines is away on the outer side, goes down towards half forward. Kampler goes back. He's playing on Mitchell now. Kick it, made something out of nothing again. Smothered the hand pass from 45 metres out. Misses to the near side. Well, he is explosive. He has that something about him that sets him apart from the crowd. He went to Fitzroy, didn't make it there, was unhappy in Melbourne, has come back. A term of suspension this season. The applause you hear is for Craig Nelson coming off the ground. On comes Edwards. But Nelson has done some strong work in there for Western Australia. Edwards, of course, had a very good second term, John.
Indeed he did. Doesn't make a difference when you've got some live wire half forwards. Can't they really burst the game wide open as Kickett's doing at the moment?
West goes into Hodel. West got it from Mitchell. And Mitchell and Kickett really creating havoc. Here's Hutton in the pocket. He's kicked 4 goals. So WA probably experiencing their best patch in the match right now.
Without doubt. Hutton deep in the right full forward pocket. The wind will help him. It'll tend to bend the ball back towards the goals. Let's see what he can do.
He's missed.
Yes. But Dennis, there seems to be a sense of urgency about the Western Australians that wasn't there in the first half, particularly in the second quarter. And I think they're starting to believe that they can win this game. South Australia certainly aren't going to hand it to them on a plate. But there is a sense of desperation about the home side that wasn't there in the first half.
Bartlett's kicked to centre wing. Is marked by West. He's done pretty well, Robbie West. Goes in short. This is Edwards.
Willie Dick's on if he wants him on the far side.
Yes. He's put this ball into the path of Langdon. Dick can go by. Here's Dick now emerging to Hodel. That was brilliantly played by Edwards back in the middle. Hodel gets the goal. And Malaxis and the umpire all very close, as you can see. One down by Redden. So can SA come back? Brockhurst on the ground. It's going to be a Western Australian free though, and it's going to White. Mitchell White played for the Eagles a couple of times this season. Has a background in South Australia too. It's a good kick. Retzlaff short to Hutt. Well, hasn't this game turned?
Isn't it amazing how when you start to bring the ball down into the forward line intelligently and with direction, that all you need is for your full forward to be a couple of paces ahead of the fullback, And I don't care who you are, it's impossible to get the ball out of his hands.
John Cale making 2 changes as Hutton kicks. I think he's missed. So the West Australians inaccurate now, and that's helping South Australia. And obviously, Cale wants more pace. Chigwitten is back on the ground, and Bennett is out there as well, and they've replaced Redden and Brockhurst.
Well, that's where South Australia are breaking down at this stage, because Western Australia certainly have got the pace across the ground that the visitors haven't got. I don't think Carl Langdon will be too happy with that.
No, he sprayed that one out of bounds on the full, left half forward. South Australia needs some run now. That's a good kick out of defence by Tasker. He's been most impressive, and he finds Smallridge at half back. Good chip pass across to Bartlett. They need to just steady things down a little bit. This is Sims. Sims towards half forward. Up goes Williams. Had it fisted away by Bremen. Taken by Nayley. Running his heart out. Down towards the kick-off line it goes. Hines is down there, fisting away. Panizza across towards the boundary. And content to see it across as William.
It was good play by Hines then. He realises that Darren Smith certainly is an excellent mark and a very athletic young man, so he was content to punch the ball as far away from the danger zone as possible.
Edwards back towards the boundary. Chigwitten dragged off it. Panizza just walks across. John Cale suddenly with the challenge squarely put to him. Generally, I'm sure he felt South Australia looked the better side in the first half, but in the space of 20 minutes, they've lost that advantage. Momentum has certainly swung. West working a 1-2 with Langdon. Goes towards half forward. Northeast goes back. Couldn't hang on. This is Kapler. And his natural kicking foot. Probing kick out towards left half forward. Here's Pater. It bounced obligingly for him. Now Bennett's on. The ball's hanging a long time in the air. He has to stay underneath it. It runs free behind. The pack got to Bennett. Loose ball towards the right pocket. Nayley. No one near him. Mark Nayley. He's very elusive. He snaps with the left foot. Hasn't got the carry. Back goes Hines and concedes the point.
That was timely. That was an excellent effort from Mark Nayley. That was so close. It was coming around. And had it had just a little more height, one feels that that could have been a goal. And a very inspirational one at that.
Miller kicks in and finds Bremen. Bremen goes short. White. Clever mark. Never quite sure who's behind.
And doesn't the ball take an eternity to get down too?
Certainly. Kick it. Well, he had no space in which to operate, but that was more than enough. He goes across the ground. What a good kick. Finds Dick.
Not bad, was it?
Terrific. Willie Dick plays on. Spears it down towards Mitchell, and that was a good mark too. A terrific mark as Kapler was closing.
And that ball was moving too, Dennis. I like the way Mitchell goes for his marks. Eyes on the ball, firm hands around the ball, and doesn't worry about what's coming from behind him.
Mitchell, 40 metres out. That's a better kick for Western Australia. That's a goal. Can they get back from here? Williams out of the centre. William knocks it only as far as Rouvray. Smallridge. It's a penalty for a throw against Rouvray.
I'm sorry, Dennis, I was just to say they're exerting enormous pressure now, the Western Australians. They're really searching and finding out just how good the South Australian side is.
This is Malaxis. Baroni was the man who kicked it out his way. Malaxis took it across the boundary line. So just thinking of alternatives now, it's hard to know really what John Cale can do. They know his players very well. Hasn't made too many changes really to the nature of the forward line so far, but that hasn't been the problem. It hasn't been down there. But they've got to generate some goals, and they've got to do it quickly. Fiachi in trouble. This is Bartlett. A particularly good kick. Smallridge, a courageous mark, not paid. Gee, that's a bit harsh. Malaxis.
Surprising. I thought he held that long enough for it to have been deemed a mark.
Now it's with Retzlaff at centre half forward, and I think Smallridge is coming off the ground. The runner was out there before he dropped the mark. Banfield is coming on. There goes the kick from Retzlaff. It's off to the right. Another minor score. So it's 11-12. In this term, they've added 6-7, Western Australia, while South Australia have managed only 2-2.
And that's Gary Smallridge, former East Fremantle player, now with Port Adelaide, a Lynn Medal winner, coming off for a breather. He's done well for his side, and it's certainly not his fault that they're in this present predicament.
It was on centre wing, and out it goes. Chigwidden is number 5 from Glenelg. Edwards did well, clean possession. Shark by Sims, though, who's been pretty quiet. This is Panizza towards the boundary, out of bounds.
Don't know who that was for.
No. It's Barry Cable coming down towards the boundary now. The sun is probably at its brightest for the day. Problem for the players trying to mark the ball down at the city end. This is Dick, who got it from William. Missed by Mitchell. Kick it taken high, and he'll get the free kick forward of centre wing.
Dennis, he's had an explosive third quarter, hasn't he? He's just played so superbly. He's been an excellent linchpin for them.
Yes, Baroni now towards the kick-off line. All South Australia down there, but forward at the pack, Basiri. Basiri will go in and kick a goal. Great evasion to get around Delaney.
And again, the effort from Kickett. Made something out of nothing, was there when he was needed. And this is good eyes, good reaction from Jeff Basiri, and a fitting result. Western Australia's 12th.
Well, if anything, the breeze is favouring the end of which South Australia are going. It's blowing out towards, say, left half forward at the western end. And South Australia, if they harbour any hopes of getting back into this game, really have got to get the next goal. If WA get the next, then they're in big trouble.
Good comment.
12-12 to 8-7. One down again by Western Australia, but sharked again by Nayley. They've had first use of the ball out of the centre quite often, South Australia. Panizza.
He's lifted.
This is Retzlaff. He's played a very good game. Away he goes towards the outer side, and Edwards.
They're starting to take marks too, Dennis. They're not so worried about the height of the South Australians. And Western Australia are putting the ball in the air, and their big fellas are doing the job.
Fiachi dropped that mark. Bartlett back towards Kapler. Shrugs a tackle. Didn't really look. Edwards, as far as heel, dragged off the kick. It spills across to Banfield on his knees. That's better. Well, I thought it was. It's intercepted by White. And again, Western Australia keep their composure. Retzlaff towards half forward. Mitchell comes in and takes a brilliant grab. Just plucked it away from Bartlett. Teasing him. Down towards full forward. Hall flies. Tasker gets a fist on it back towards the boundary. Hodel, who's been very lively on the forward line as well. That trio of Hodel, Kickett and Mitchell really have set problems down there for South Australia's defence. Just under 3 minutes till three-quarter time.
As absent as they were in the first and some of the second quarter, they've really set the place alight in the third.
Langdon wants a free kick. He was umpiring as he was being taken high.
He likes doing that.
He's a helpful soul, Carl Langdon.
We'll have a look at it again.
Not much doubting this one, of course.
I know. But he certainly let the umpire know that he'd been taken high, and he's on his correct foot. He's a left footer. And what breeze there is will bend this back towards the goal. Distance shouldn't worry him, a question of accuracy.
Just inside the 50. Carl Langdon bends it too early. Through it goes for a minor score. 12-13 to 8-7. What a fine term it's been by Western Australia. He goes for Western Australia.
Long quarter, Dennis. It's 31 minutes long.
Lengthened, of course, by a string of WA goals. Williams misses the mark. Now they're in trouble. Retzlaff, open goal. And he's got it.
Yes, they're starting to punish them now.
Mark Williams will hobble off the ground. He hurt his ankle as he came down after contesting that mark.
Yeah, that was good play by Brendan Retzlaff, and any error that South Australia are now making in defence, this Western Australian side, which would be fair to say would be fairly confident at the moment, are really punishing them, as unfortunately Mark Williams has got to come from the ground injured, and coming back on will be Gary Smallridge.
Well, of all the scenarios we could have envisaged at half-time, as here's Natalie again out of the middle. He's been quite remarkable getting it out. Smith's in front and takes a very good mark low down.
Good pass. Excellent pass.
It's been terrific. I can think of 5 times where Nayley has brought it out of the middle for South Australia. You can't do much more than that as a rover.
Nope.
So Smith, South Australia desperate for this goal.
Not much time to go in the quarter, Dennis. They really do need a goal.
Shadows of the stand. Pokes at Goldwood, and it's true. So Darren Smith gets a much-needed goal for South Australia. They're 9-7. Western Australia are 13-13. I was just going to say, of all the scenarios we could think about at half-time, the one least likely, I thought, was WA to blow the game open, John.
Dennis, it looked the way South Australia were playing. They were doing so well midfield that one sensed it was just a matter of time before their game clicked. But really, the reverse has happened. You're dead right. It was Western Australia who lifted their rating after half-time.
13-13 to 9-7. So the margin is 30 points. Not insurmountable. It's going to be tough because the West Australians are running so well. West out into open space, and Mitchell is about 15 metres in front of Northeast and still going easy. Kapler was after him as well. There goes the kick down towards full forward. Hodel. Hall trying to wrench it out. Fiachi goes back into the pack. Smallridge knocks it towards the goal. Heard the voice of Bennett though. Well played. Rouvray. They kept their heads pretty well there, South Australia. But look at this. 5 West Australians around the ball, and the mark is held by Malaxis. I think the best thing that can happen for South Australia is the siren. There goes the kick down towards full forward. Almost a great mark to Hall. Hodel tries to head his way through the pack. Shovels at Goldwood. Knocked out of there by Bennett. This is Kickett. So as a result, problems for South Australia. Kickett back across his body. They contest in the goal square. Tasker gets it on the ground. Fiachi. And now Bartlett. Bartlett in the back pocket. Almost three-quarter time. Heel on the outer side. South Australia can make something of it, but I doubt they've got the time. There's the siren. Well, 3 South Australians running down the outer side. Didn't have the time to take it forward. 13-13 to 9-7 here at Subiaco Oval at three-quarter time.
When it comes
Oval on the home side lead by 30 points. 13-13 to 9-7. Can SA come back? It's a big ask now.
They're a good side, Dennis, and it's not beyond them. It certainly isn't beyond them.
Nice for the big crowd if they make it competitive. That appeared to be a throw from Mitchell. That's how the umpire saw it. Heel, sweeping hand pass to Rouvray, who wasn't watching. Did pretty well under the circumstances. Northeast was half blanketed by West. I was waiting for that. It's finally arrived. They're surrounded. There's Kickett. Banfield's got it, but it's coming back. It's a free kick. It'll be taken by Painter on the outer side. Probing kick down towards centre half forward. Sims props in front. Opportunity for Bennett. Hasn't had the best of days, but a quality player. Smith slipped over. Redden lays it off to Smallridge. So South Australia looking to mount something here down towards the pocket. Page did well to get back and give a contest there. Breeman's over the ball. Chigwidden emerges with it. Ran into a dead end. It comes back towards Page. Down goes Panizza. Page still has the ball in front of him. Hard against the boundary line. He pulls it back, and a strong mark is taken by Murphy.
Yes, it was. Gee's got a good pair of hands, this fella.
What about the persistence there of Page? Paul Page, number 10, just kept working and working down there. Recruited from St Kilda. And certainly showed the application of one of their doer saints this season, certainly, in that contest. And now all eyes on Murphy.
Should be a gimme.
Goal to South Australia. 91 to 67. Rucks go at it again. Nelson at the second attempt. Nailey, as he did so well in the third term, with no advantage to his team getting it out of the centre, and White takes a very clever mark. They were tumbling all around him. Eyes only for the football. Mitchell White at half back. Short one is on to Retzlaff, who's been available all day. Again, comes up with the ball. Goes towards half forward, not a good kick. Hodel in front, had it fisted away. Malaxis dragged down immediately. Redden leads back in the race. In trouble. Sold Nailey into more trouble. Brockhurst did well. Knocked it out wide. Heel. The West Australians, though, relentless. West did brilliantly. Got it across to Pasiri. It's a wayward kick. It's off to the left-hand side.
He had a little more time than that. I don't know that anybody told him to steady, because he could have made a couple of metres, got onto his kicking foot, a little better balanced, and could have resulted in a goal.
Haley limping a little. Just a couple of execution errors there from South Australia. problems mounted as the ball went from man to man. Nelson worth a kick, knocked it about 25 metres. This is Passeri, hugs the boundary line and finds Hall.
There was no margin for error then.
I was going to call it out of bounds.
It would have been a fair call. No, he did mark it just inside, but gosh, it was close.
Let's go on with the curve. That takes a bit of doing. This is Hall, right across the face, and I think that's out of bounds in the opposite pocket. No, the boundary umpire had a good view on it. Hodel took the mark, he plays on, touched off the boot. Delaney thumps it towards the boundary line. Well, WA are getting plenty of chances. Hodel was smothered by Northeast. In the pocket now, this is Wetzler. He slipped over, back towards Langdon. Langdon hard against the boundary line. Hodel, down he goes. Northeast gets a boot on the ball, and eventually it goes out of bounds. Well, that was pretty hectic. Let's go down to Max Stevens. Max?
Mark Williams, Dennis, number 9 for South Australia. He sprained his left ankle and isn't expected to take any further part in the game.
Bad luck for the veteran and for Port, of course. It's one of the downsides of interstate football, injuries. And that ball appeared to be held to the South Australian player. Let's take a look at that again. Kickett's come up with a free kick, but could he get rid of it?
Here's the tackle. Oh, a bit rough.
A bit high.
Yeah, both.
Bounce may have been the best option there. There was an arm on the ball from the West Australian tackler almost immediately. Still, Kickett wastes the opportunity. Across the face it goes. Hall the leaper. South Australia work it out. Comes out towards left half back. Page. Still he goes, Page. Nelson applied good pressure. This is Malaxis. Down he went. Well done by Bennett. Got it to Delaney. Not the best kick in the world. High towards centre wing. Page over the top. Panizza. Banfield on the ground. Chick-Whitten. Smallridge now. Here's a chance for South Australia if Rouvray can get this one. White coming at him. Great tackle. Down he goes. Play on's the call that time. Baroni comes away with the ball. Baroni gets it across to Dick alongside the centre circle. Dick towards half forward. In front, Hodel. That was a great mark. And terrific.
Fiachi is off for South Australia. They can ill afford to lose him.
Here's Hodel. That's the replay of the mark. And in the flesh. Down towards the kickoff line. Redden comes over the top. Couldn't hang on. Naily again to Banfield. Can South Australia structure something from here? Chick-Whitten. He's on centre wing. He needs a favourable bounce. He's got it. He needs support, and he's got that too. Smallridge. Look away handball. Bennett. Well, that wasn't well played. Dick. Cross to Malaxis. Gets it back to the voice of Retzlaff. Retzlaff on centre wing. Twisting and turning. Centering kick. A beauty. Hodel takes the mark inside the centre square.
They're up and down on the spot at the moment, South Australia. They've got to lift and find something. They really do.
Hutton should have marked that one. Heel. Now a chance for South Australia. Painter should be fresh. Meters in the clear. Rouvray inside. They can work a 1-2. Getting back quickly though. Kickett. Well played. Rouvray has to release the ball downfield. Chick-Whitten. It's 3-on-1. They should get a goal out of this. Painter. Where will he go? He goes short. And the mark is taken. Well, a push in the back. Murphy, who had the ball in his hands. I don't think there was much doubting that. Brad Williams not too happy.
Well, he's got no reason to dispute the decision. It was a blatant push. There it is.
Well, I think if they dusted Murphy for Prince, there'd be 10 of them.
Agree.
Firmly implanted. So Michael Murphy in the pocket. If he kicks this, South Australia will still be a good hope. As it is, he kicks it behind. They're still in it, but it's not going to be easy. 10-8 to 13-14.
No, they needed that. That would have been a couple on the trot to South Australia, and that would have done wonders for them. I said a little earlier that they seem to be going up and down on the spot. They've got a lot of tired players. Look at that kick. That is almost into the centre, and a sensational mark to Smallridge.
That was a John Grieve kick. You'd remember those, Buck.
I sure do.
There goes the kick into the forward line from Banfield. It'll take 2 to take it back for South Australia. This is Dick. That was a massive kick by Bremen. Dick comes away, kicks it back towards midfield, and what a courageous mark by Rouvray. Going back with the flight of the ball towards half forward and Smith. So South Australia are looking better now.
You weren't even born in John Grieve's day, were you?
I was a Bob Johnson fan. I watched him work over Big Bob, and you too. Meantime, on the forward line, Chick-Whitten, 20 metres out, misses to the left-hand side.
A couple of opportunities for South Australia gone begging. Chick Whitten could have done better with that. He's a talented footballer. Admittedly, it's his first interstate game, but the opportunity was there for him, and South Australia certainly needed a goal then.
Here's Baroni from the kick in. Norris is back on the ground. Ooh, Claremont supporters would have held their breath. Mitchell and Norris colliding. Brockhurst comes away. Smallridge goes towards the pocket. At full stretch, Bennett. He's had one of those days. He couldn't rake it in. It goes out of bounds. West Coast Eagles hierarchy in the crowd there. Boundary throw in on the attacking 50 for South Australia. Ball behind the pack. Well played by Passeri. Down he goes though. Western Australia with the numbers around the ball. This is West. Long towards half forward. Brockhurst in front. It bounces obligingly for him. Gets it to Sims. Sims the short pass. South Australia not done with yet.
No way.
This is Banfield. Not much happening down the ground. Northeast. Rather untidy. Somehow it came to Heel. Heel goes long towards full forward. One out contest. They battle after it. Through it goes for a minor score. William and Murphy down there. So South Australia dominating the early going in this final term. One last roll of the dice.
Well, Dennis, I must have heard what was said about going up and down on the spot, because they've certainly lifted and they're carrying the game right up to Western Australia at the moment. And the local side are going to have to work very, very hard to keep the visitors down.
Well, an important movement forward this time for Western Australia. Retzlaff, good use of the ball. He finds Hodel just inside the 50. If they get a goal here, it could break the spirit of South Australia, who really have controlled play for the opening 9 minutes of the term, but don't have a lot to show for it. Just the one goal.
It's a good mark from Hodel. He has certainly played well since quarter time, and that's a good comment. Again, South Australia doing well midfield, but not a lot to show for it.
Hodel likes his chances from the 50.
Tell you what.
A good kick. Ooh, just off to the left. And he had a bit of misfortune, John, there. That plant foot as he kicked just gave way a little underneath him, didn't it?
It did, and it is damp, as you've said before, and that does cause a problem for the players when they're taking their kicks.
Delaney, that is a lazy kick. That's a poor effort. It goes directly to Mitchell.
Mitchell looking right into the sun.
Hoisted high. They battle. Hall got his hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Willie Dick, 25 metres out. He got it from Retzlaff, who was very quick with the hand pass, and the ball drifts out of bounds. It was kicked under pressure. So South Australia to bring it in. Nick Redden floats one out towards half back, and Banfield, or was it northeast? Northeast was the target. Had a few over there. It's out of bounds, and we'll get a throw in. There's the WA dugout. Nelson and McGovern in the foreground. Thrown in on the 50. Redden to Banfield. It's out of bounds again.
They need to get that ball out of here, South Australia. It's in the danger zone, and they've got numbers on the ground. It's just a matter of them getting a bit of a game plan going, getting a couple of hand passes and working the ball out of defence.
Hodel now cast in the role of a ruckman, relishing it. Brockhurst got it to Bartlett. This is Sims, hard against the boundary line. Not a good kick again. They give it away. Baroni. West has got it now. Malaxis inside the 50. Goes long and he's off target. Kickett is down there. Oh, good mark.
Right. Hasn't he got some skill?
Bartlett wants to be careful. He's arguing the toss on the mark.
That's excellent stuff, isn't it?
Bartlett was arguing. I thought Kickett is just the type to sneak away and kick a goal. Well, that's improvising of the highest order. That was with the outside of the boot, and he's kicked the goalpost high and missed by a long way. But he wanted to know whether it would do that or not. He found out it goes in that direction, but not too accurately. Delaney, that's a better kick in.
Yes.
Rouvray takes the mark, the defensive side of right half back. So 13-16 to 10-10. And even the behinds are making it awkward now.
South Australia not getting any run midfield. Rouvray then had absolutely no one to kick to. The whole centre line was just standing there waiting to see what he was going to do with the ball.
Edwards, who took the mark, sends it back in. Big pack into the air. Malaxis, it spun away from him. Brockhurst back towards midfield once more. Page and Panizza. It falls behind. White gets back quickly. Gets it away to Hines, who storms up through the middle. Well done, Chick Whitten. Charged down the kick. Suddenly it turns around. Smith goes looking towards full forward. Storming out in front. Unable to hang on down there was Murphy. And Western Australia get it away. On the outer side it's West. He pulls it back to Edwards. Edwards goes long into the forward line once more. Over the top, Bartlett got a fist on it. Hodel leads in the race. Sims has got him. Now a chance for Hutton, confronted by Delaney. Hutton knocks it on. Kickett is in there. Emerging with it is Hall. Pulls it back across his body. It bounces out of bounds in the pocket.
Desperation from Kickett. Western Australia did well to keep the ball down in the forward line. I like the way Hutton, with no regard for personal safety, just went in at the fall of the pack, the bottom of the pack, to try and shovel that ball forward.
Hutton looking for a free kick. Chick Whitten comes away. Not a good kick. Painter was slow to react there. Western Australia now with a chance. South Australia tie it up just inside WA's attacking 50. But if he's got any runners left on the bench, and bear in mind we're playing 22 today, then I think John Cahill would be well advised to get them out there, because no legs, as John said, through midfield at the present time. And sooner or later WA are going to get a goal down here. Rouvray back towards the outer side wing. Bennett did well that time, outnumbered 2-1, but he kept the ball going South Australia's way. But weight of numbers tell the story. Edwards got it up to Breeman. On the outer side now it's with White, who chips it out wide, and the mark is taken by Retzlaff. Short one is on. Dick, it's almost inevitable, John.
Yes, it is, Dennis. And this sort of play, just chipping the ball around, using it, is going to run South Australia ragged.
Dick floats one in. Waiting behind Norrish. Well, it had to come.
Yep.
Scoring shots. 6 goals to do it, of course. Painter goes down towards half forward. This is Smith. And on the balance of play, they're not going to get those. White has done pretty well in this final term. Smallridge trying hard. Down goes Bennett. He's been a big disappointment to me today. Smith gets it across to Smallridge. Smallridge towards the pocket, and the mark is held by Murphy. Now Murphy has shown that if they get it down to him, he's more than a chance, isn't he?
He sure is. He really has excellent ball sense and ball judgment. He knows where the kicks are going and puts himself in the right position to receive them. And he's been a shining light down in the SA forward line.
This has to be a goal. He knows that, and he's taking his time. Study and concentration. I think he's got it. No, he's missed.
Well, I think the last 3 or 4 times that SA have been down into their forward line, behinds have resulted when goals were absolutely at a premium, and none more so than that. They really did need that goal, because that's the sort of thing that breaks your heart. All the good work getting the ball down onto the forward line for no result, and your opposition just turn around and do what they're doing with the ball now. And you're back to a chasing scenario.
Quite right. Edwards gets it out wide, and a clever mark is taken by West. I've been impressed with his game. Kick it to Hodel. Hodel's played very well too. Look at this. 2 runners loose inside the 50 for Western Australia. Dick, 40 metres out. Looks pretty close. No, he's missed. Well, they should have done better there. It was 4 on 2.
Yes, that wasn't a good effort. Dick had plenty of time. He even had time to come round onto his correct kicking foot, which he didn't bother to do. Touch of arrogance, a little misplaced at this stage.
McIntyre back on the ground. I think he received a cork earlier on. This is Heel. Towards half forward, over the top Hines. Hits the ground running, sends play back towards the half forward line. Heel with courage went back and got his fingertips to it. Now McIntyre was taken high by Mitchell and will get the free kick.
No doubt about that.
So we're past halfway in this final quarter. South Australia falling off the pace. This is Smith. Good kick. That's an intelligent kick, and the man going back takes the mark. That's Bennett. Now he needs to go back and kick a goal here. He was flirting with the idea of laying the ball off there, but he's got to kick this. He'll kick from just inside the 50. Normally, he's a long left foot kick. Today hasn't been his day. That ball is left. It's bending back. Not enough. Yes, it is. Back within reach again. 77 to 101. Just under 9 minutes remaining of actual playing time, so still time to get the job done. Nice combination. Malaxis gets it out to Passeri, who kicks it down towards half forward. Tasker, who's tried very hard in defence. Hoisted high towards centre wing. Heel will go with courage. Oh, how will they pay that? They pay it to West. West lobs it back towards the half-forward line. Offhands an opportunity for Kickett. Retzlaff across towards Baroni. He's put down. Back comes Kickett. They're conceding ground at the present time, Western Australia. Malaxis on the ground, gets it across to Edwards. Retzlaff's in trouble now. Long hand pass away. Here's an opportunity for Pasiri. Long kick down towards full forward. Bartlett going back, knocks it away from Hall, and through it goes for a minor score.
They may not think it counts at the moment, Western Australia, but they're falling into the same trap that they did in the first quarter, bombing it long and high into the forward line with no tall men down there and just hoping that somebody's going to take a mark.
2-on-1 for South Australia on the outer side, and Rouvray did well, knocked it wide. No chance for Baroni. Rouvray eventually picks it up, hard against the boundary line, kicks towards half forward, over the top William, who finds it on the ground and soccers it back towards the wing. Look at him go, Brad William. Well played. Gets it away to Kickett. He went looking for Baroni. Baroni is down and hurt. Meantime, William does superbly. Gets it onto support. The centering kick comes across from Pasiri, and the mark is taken by Hutton.
Sheer weight of numbers. Dennis was going to see that ball end up where it did.
So Hutton, who's been pretty effective from long range today, has got 4 goals. Generally, he's had a lot of practice taking kicks from about here.
I won't make any comment.
Well, distance isn't a problem. Accuracy is. It falls away to the left. But again, they're getting plenty of target practice, and you feel now that it may well be beyond South Australia. 14-19 to 11-11. Tasker in the back pocket. Goes for distance around the outer side. WA have got the numbers out there. Malaxis shakes the tackle. Edwards has got it. Gets around Smallridge, who tried valiantly in that situation. Tried to lay a couple of tackles. Ball comes back in again. It's a beleaguered defence. Down went Page. Picked up by Hodel. He snaps. How will this one run? Delaney's way. Now he can run it out, Delaney. He brings it up towards halfback. Menon in the middle. McIntyre is one. Up he goes. A runner inside. Banfield. He props and kicks out wide. A task for Heel. Heel did well. Tried to knock it across to Chick Whitten. Still he goes Heel. Lacking support, but scrambles at some 5 metres, and that was enough. But Chick Whitten could do nothing with it. Malaxis robbed him of the ball. Here's trouble for South Australia. Retzlaff gives it to Edwards. Hall inside the 50. That could be holding the ball. No, Hall shoveled it out quickly enough, at least for the umpire's satisfaction. Northeast kicked it towards the outer side. Baroni was held without it, and Baroni will get the free.
Yes, he worked hard then, Baroni. Lucio Baroni on the half-forward line. One senses, have a look at that again. Yep, obviously held a little bit too high. One senses that time has run out for South Australia. We're almost into the time-on period.
Hutton still prepared to run. It's out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. So it's been a spirited game, certainly. South Australia started well. Western Australia, full credit to them, clawed their way back. And now doing much as they like, dominating play, and Hodel gets a goal. South Australians too nifty over 4 quarters. Edwards towards half forward. Kickett, who was one of the main inspirations in that 3rd term. Down towards full forward once more. This ball can run through for a goal.
I think it has. I think it has.
The all clear's given. Delaney is pleading his case sitting about 20 metres out from goal. All to no avail.
Delaney thought he got a hand of that. Didn't appear so from here. Maybe what he was appealing, Dennis, was the fact that he thought that John Hutton may have got into his back.
I think so.
But I'd say that shuts the gate now for South Australia with the 16th on the board to the home side. We're into the time-on period. Western Australia, certainly since half-time, have done it extremely well.
I think his message was something to do with the hand. He was asking the umpire which was the more likely. I touched it, or was I pushed in the back? I'll take whichever. This is Panizza. He's at centre-half back, Daryl Panizza. Swings it out wide. Retzlaff, one of the best certainly for Western Australia. Little chip pass across the ground. McGovern, who started but hasn't seen much action since midway through the 2nd term. Members side with the kick. Big pack off hands, going against the tight. Pasiri showed a lot of courage. Dick picks it up. Back to Retzlaff, who's knocked up getting possessions, and look at that kick. Fine mark too. They're not easy, but what a wonderful kick.
Oh, Retzlaff has played superbly across the centre line and has been a regular source of opportunity. Look at the kick out in front of Hutton. To Hutton's credit, he threaded his way through traffic, kept eyes on the ball, took a strong mark. As you said, when you're going flat out at the ball, they're very difficult to take overhead. He did that well.
So it's going to be a blowout at the finish, which is a little disappointing because South Australia have tried very hard, and until 5 minutes ago there's still some sort of a chance. But now Hutton has bombed another one. It's 44 points, just over 3 minutes remaining. Banfield gets it out. McGovern dragged down. Banfield again. He's tried pretty hard. Bennett, what can he do this time? Swings it out wide. Painter goes over the top, taken by Smith. Smith is about 30 metres out, closing, poor kick. And Naylor got a hand to it. Through it went. Now Naylor is claiming he knocked it down onto his boot.
He's in a bit of pain too.
Bremen to himself. Comes out running. This will go to centre half forward if they're not careful. Look at that kick. That's gone about 70 metres towards the outer side. Bennett knocks it down. Comes again, but White robbed him of the ball. Bennett came back to fight a draw. McIntyre got it across to support, and they bring it away. South Australia around the outer side. Heels tried pretty hard, but has had to lower his colours today, and then finds David Hines on the lead. That wasn't his intention, but Hines read it particularly well. Hines looking for Baroni. Found him.
Yes, they're finishing all over South Australia now, the Western Australians. It's amazing when you look at the scoreboard and see you're in front. That just gives a little bit of lift to the legs, and conversely, when you look and you see that you're behind, it feels like someone's put cement on your feet.
Ball on the outer side was held by Rouvray, so White will get the free kick. I'm sure both of these sides would acquit themselves very well in the AFL competition. Out comes Hutton. Oh, he really charged at that ball, and a gutsy mark was taken by Banfield.
It takes a lot of courage to stand there and stand your ground when someone's charging down on you the way Hutton was.
Mitchell gave it away. Around the outer side now, South Australia through Bartlett. Go forward once more. Kick not a good one. He's kicking for distance, but WA certainly had the numbers out there. Bremen took the mark. Just over a minute to go. I've got to say, John, I've had plenty of football this weekend. This is the 4th game in 4 days, and I wasn't able to do as much about this game as I would have liked, but I'd like to thank a couple of people, Mark Aston in Adelaide and John O'Connell in Perth, for making a few phone calls and sorting things out for me in my absence. Did a great job. This is Baroni now, down towards half forward. Drop kick almost. The inadvertent drop kick. Great to see it back in the game.
Get out.
They scramble after it there. Hodl's at the base of it all. Gets it out to Hall. Run down from behind, holding the ball surely.
No.
No.
Should have been.
This is Smallridge, confronted. Northeast, likewise. Hodl is just mowing them down. He's inspired. He's going from man to man. This is Page eventually. To Chick Whitten on the outer side. Chick Whitten down towards half forward. In front. Sims couldn't hang on. White, he's done pretty well since halftime, John.
He has, Dennis, and I was just going to make mention of that half-back line. I was critical of them early in the game because I thought that's where Western Australia were breaking down, but now they're reigning supreme and repelling every midfield attack that South Australia can muster.
This is West from 70 metres out. Bacon goal square. Hutton going back. Through it goes for a minor score on the siren. Robbie West, an indication of how the West Australians feel. In the end, decisive winners over South Australia, 17-20 to 11-12. Football is alive and well, and on a level playing field, I guess the West Australians will be very happy about this result. So WA, in front of 20,000 fans, have got back on the winners list in interstate football. They've drawn a number of blanks in recent seasons. I think their only win after a loss against New South Wales was against the VFA. So it's been a while, but WA defeats South Australia 17-20 to 11-12. At half-time, they were 6 points clear, and what a big third term by Western Australia. 8 goals, 16 scoring shots to lead by 30 points at three-quarter time, and finally run out winners by 44 points. The principal goal scorers for Western Australia, Hutton got 5, 3 to Hodl, 3 to Kickett,
and 2 apiece to Mitchell and Pasiri. And for South Australia, Murphy got 3 and Nayley got 2. It certainly was a good game of football. Down in the rooms you can see the West Australians enjoyed themselves after the game. Todd Bremen, an exchange of jumpers there. Western Australia simply too quick in the second half. They outran South Australia, and that really was an inspired third term. Some of their players across half forward, those lively players that South Australia, I'm sure, came here fearing, players like Mitchell, Kickett and Hodel, came to the fore. I thought the best players for Western Australia, Retzlaff, Hodel and also Bremen, and for South Australia, Nayley very good in the centre square, Tasker reliable in defence, and Banfield tried hard as well. So Western Australia home by 44 points. The Eagles and Western Australia going very well at the present time. So the state of football here in Western Australia very healthy indeed. WA's next interstate challenge, a state of origin match against Victoria next month. Thanks for your company. Good night.